Actually, I have Zoodiac for you today. Earthbound actual synchro pile and more Ghoti surprise along with some other interesting meta. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more on this content. Does this remind anybody of the last regional list that we saw spike up out here as people were trying out some of the ideas? Well, this is a spin on the regional variant that we saw show up with Zoo, where basically, you challenge a lot of the meta out here, and, you use the Zoodiac stuff to clear your board, and then you can use the adventure package to establish up a Griffin Rider / whatever you want to do on that subline, and you can set up the full Armored Exceeds package as a form of interruption. And this is basically what it feels like, is you're taking all of these different engines out here and you're molding these in a way to allow this deck the chance to capitalize on the pure advantage that you're able to get. And honestly, the deck is pretty disgusting at the things it can do. I mean, you have the whole value of the Horus package, the adventure stuff, set up fenders for spot removal, good hand traps. You have full searchability through the small world package to get to whatever you need to do. And of course, I mean, literally, Xyz Armor Fortress, just kind of free for what this deck wants to do. Honestly, it's a lot of Zeus Turbo shenanigans to do its thing, and the rest of the deck is just generic good stuff, kind of assist you along your way. Do I recommend playing this? Yes. I have had a lot of fun with Zeus Turbo. This form I've been playing a lot of pure Zoo myself, and to see that, we can incorporate all of these different engines into this deck to give this deck at least a chance to board break the opponent, that's very, very critical out here to understand. So please consider giving this deck a shot. The idea and everything that this has had going about it has held up through Phantom Nightmare, and that's good. Next up here, we have Earthbound synchro good stuff here. The build is using Earthbound Fusion. Now, this lets you fusion summon a Dark Fusion monster from your extra deck using from your hand or field as material. And you can only activate this card during the main phase, unless a card is in the field zone. So during your main phase, if a card is in the field zone, you can banish this from the graveyard, special summon an Earthbound monster from the hand or graveyard. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Synchro and Fusion monsters. Well, that's not much of a problem, honestly. I also like the fact that we're playing a Barox in here as well. You want to... I appreciate the fact that we're getting into the cheesy department of the utility options that you can get. Also, Barox acting as a cute little fiend monster in here is going to be pretty good. Or, if you needed to act as an Earth to get through the Geo Gremlin, you can. Also, I mean, once again, you're able to make this, you're able to make Grapha, and you can actually technically cheese out the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon as well, because we are playing the Muddy Mud Dragon in here as well. I think a lot of people kind of forget that Muddy Mud Dragon exists. To be fair, I think the last real deck that showed us that Muddy Mud Dragon was kind of broken was actually Virtual World. And guess what? We're already playing Virtual World here as it is. I do see that we are playing Closed Forest in here. Now, this card's actually pretty good because other field spells cannot be activated, and field spells cannot be activated during the turn that this card is destroyed. This card is actually pretty insane for what it wants to do, but it's a lot more of a generic sort of card in order to, kind of set up and block the field zone effectively. You don't really see, Mana DM, well, I guess more detrimental effects and things like that are why you would be using this card. So very interesting. Hello, Puppetry. All right, what else we got back here? We have more Ghoti, and I will say that I am very happy to see that these variants out here are using the white sardine and they are playing the white sunfish. So many people have been very against this package. But by playing this, you get the ability to play White Reincarnation, and White Reincarnation is an incredible card, being a searcher to get the ability to set this on up. you have to understand that, like, yes, you can play pure Ghoti on its own, and you can do a lot of grind game stuff with it. We saw that during the Kong's Cards tournament, that, you know, Ghoti cards are able to functionally work on their own. But you're going to tend to get better results for some of these boards through the inclusion of the White Sardine package and things like the Sunfish in here as well. And then it makes less of an emphasis on the Ghoti cards. You know, the Ghoti cards at this point feel like they become more of a splash package, allowing you to unfold a lot of the combo lines for you to do your thing. This card right here is just the massive feed for these decks. You know, all of our little cards all love being banished from the graveyard, except for this guy, but that's fine. All right, not a problem. Soul Release just being that free little feed into this is really good. And also, you get so many more starters, I think, with this variant, between like the tunas, shark extensions, and then of course, you know, the lifeless leaf fish in itself. I don't know, man. I think that this build's also pretty good. And of course, hi, White Aura Whale. Double Ghoti of the Deep Beyond. This card's board wiping capabilities are some of the best that I feel like we have actually seen out here. So, should you play Ghoti? I think you should give it a shot. I think the deck is a lot better than a lot of the meta really thinks it is. Alright, we have Voiceless Voice. Okay. Now, the thing that caught my attention down here was they're playing a mini Ashened package. So we're playing triple Vitos. Now, remember, this thing is during the main phase. If this is in your hand, quick effect, we can target one card in a field zone. So I'll summon this card to your opponent's hand, and if you do, destroy that card. All right, and then if you do, you can set a Ashened continuous trap card from your deck. And if this is sent from the field to the graveyard by your opponent, you can destroy all monsters on the field. So that's actually pretty good. And then the Ashen for Eternity, on activation, you can add Vitos, another copy of itself, or an Ashen monster from your graveyard to your hand. I love the recurability that this has. And you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that you own, take control of that monster, so we can take our Vitos back to our field. But basically, you're doing some pretty interesting little manipulation shenanigans through this with the Voiceless Voice stuff, where the main deck has been chosen to play 48 cards. You do see that we are playing Fenrir in here. Do not underestimate how stupid good Fenrir is. Fenrir is the TCG special, man. We love this card. Also, this build chose to play triple copies of Saravis. So your ritual package is a little bit more extended out than we're really used to seeing. I mean, once again, I think a lot of these builds choose to play two, maybe one Saravis. It's usually, one Saravis, two Skull Guardian, one copy of the Pendulum Graph. So you kind of take your route here. And then, of course, triple Goblin Rider Detach Machine off of my opponent's Nor. Yes, if you have a lot of purely players at your locals, this card's going to help you out a lot. And, of course, you do see Sebek Sorcerer starting to show up in here a little bit more. I like this card a lot. Alright, if you want to steal some free games, Sebek Sorcerer is going to allow you the chance to kind of do some little stupid things you might not have been able to do. And our last list here is Plunder Patrol Runic, sporting off Duality. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me out here? Tribute to Light or Dark, special summon a Light or Dark monster from your extra deck with the same original type and attribute. Here we go again. Somebody's trying out the stupid unicorn plays. I don't know, man. I think it's interesting that you can do little things like this, and the fact that, you know, you can get away with it feels like it takes a little bit more skills. Also, I mean, you're playing the gold, or not the gold pride, you're playing the Plunder Patrol engine as your strong base, which means, I mean, our only ships, it look like, no, we have them all here. Even the lice, yeah, everything's accounted for this. So you're basically just going to use the ship stuff to set up your negates. I see that we're also playing a Siegfried in here as well. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting, I suppose. Interesting. To be honest with you, am I surprised to see the cute little things that you can do with this deck? Honestly, I'm more so impressed. I feel like this should have been a Boral end. Just to kind of make sure that, you know, you're doing things right. But to be honest with you, things like this build that can have success out here in the format and can take down, you know, the random challengers, I think is really worth exploring right now. So, What do you guys think about everything so far? Please leave a comment down below. There is so many interesting ideas brewing in this format. I'm liking what I'm seeing. You guys have a good rest of your day. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.